I went to Hawaii with my parents' sister and was ready to propose to my girlfriend, but at dinner, my sister raised her glass and said, "Congrats on the engagement." To me, my girlfriend didn't deny it. I choked on my drink and asked, "Is this a joke?" My mom just whispered, "Not everything is about you, sweetheart." My world collapsed as they all smiled. My name's Tyler. Ty, if you know me well enough. I've never been the loudest in the room. I don't chase drama. I keep my head down, do my job, pay my bills, and take care of my golden retriever, Hank. I work as a mechanical engineer for a manufacturing firm in Portland. Been there nearly 9 years now. Same desk. Same beat-up chair with the squeaky wheel. It's not glamorous, but it's stable. Predictable. I like to be predictable. Until recently, my life was exactly that, predictable in the best way. Then it all exploded in the most messed up way I never saw coming. It started with a trip. A family vacation to Hawaii. My parents, Everett and Nora, are the type who send good morning smiley face texts and still use ellipses like their dramatic pauses. My dad's the strong, silent type, retired from teaching high school chemistry, now obsessed with classic cars. My mom's a little more involved. She's the social butterfly, the glue that held the family together, or so I thought. She's the kind of woman who'll ask a waiter if they're single and then try to set them up with her dentist's daughter. Then there's my sister Marley. She and I were never tight. 3 years younger, always marching to her own beat. She was the creative one, the free spirit, as Mom liked to say. Marley moved to Chicago after college and only came home on holidays. When she did, she'd sweep in like a hurricane, full of loud stories, overpriced shoes, and unsolicited life advice. We tolerated each other more than we bonded. And then there was Brooke. Brooke and I had been together for nearly 4 years. She was smart, funny, and had this warm, easy way of talking to people that made you feel like you'd known her forever. A high school English teacher loved old poetry and red wine. She made my world softer better. I thought she was it for me. So when my parents suggested a family trip to Kauai, I saw it as the perfect time to propose. I had it all planned out. Sunset on the beach. Ring tucked in my sock drawer so she wouldn't find it. I even had this cheesy little speech rehearsed. I'd practiced it in front of the mirror. I was ready. What I wasn't ready for, what I couldn't have been ready for, was what actually happened. We landed in Hawaii on a Tuesday. It was beautiful in that unreal way. Turquoise water, palm trees swaying, the smell of salt and flowers in the air. The resort was nicer than I expected, with open-air lobbies and little koi ponds everywhere. Our rooms were side by side, facing the ocean. Brooke seemed excited. She wore this yellow sundress the first day, hair in a loose bun, and looked happier than I'd seen her in weeks. I chalked that up to the trip, the sunshine, the break from work. She'd been tired lately. Distant, maybe. But I figured, hey, teachers get burned out. We'd reconnect here. Rekindle something. The first couple of days went fine. We did the usual tourist stuff, snorkeling, luau's, mai tais by the pool. Marley joined us for some things, skipped others. She and Brooke spent a surprising amount of time together. Shopping mostly. I didn't think much of it. They'd always gotten along. By the third day, I was starting to feel like the timing was right. I had the ring in my backpack everywhere we went, just in case the perfect moment popped up. But that night, we had dinner reservations at this beautiful oceanside restaurant. Candlelight. Wine. The works. I decided that was going to be it. The table was set for 5, right on the deck overlooking the water. My dad ordered a bottle of Merlot. My mom was fussing over the seafood menu, asking the waiter if the fish was too fishy. Marley was unusually quiet, checking her phone. Brooke was glowing, laughing at something my mom said. I felt nervous in the best way. Halfway through the meal, as the waiter cleared the plates and I was just reaching into my pocket to make sure the ring box was there, Marley stood up. She held her wine glass in the air. "To new beginnings," she said, smiling. "And to my engagement." Everyone froze. I blinked, looked around the table. "What?" I laughed. You? You got engaged? Since when?" Then Marley turned slightly toward Brooke. Put her free hand on Brooke's shoulder. "To me," she said, slow and deliberate. "I'm engaged." To Brooke. My stomach dropped. "What?" I choked out, still laughing. "You're kidding, right?" Brooke didn't laugh. She didn't look at me. She just blushed. And nodded. I wanted to tell you," she said quietly, not meeting my eyes. I coughed, the sip of wine I'd just taken catching in my throat. "Tell me what? That you're joking?" "Because this is one hell of a joke." My mom leaned in. "Not everything is about you, sweetheart." That sentence. That one sentence shattered everything. My world cracked in half, right there under the glow of tiki torches and the sound of waves crashing below. And Just smiled. I got up. I left the table, walked out past the host stand, down the little path lined with torches. I ended up on the beach, shoes in hand, walking into the dark until I couldn't hear the clinking of glasses behind me. I sat on the sand for what felt like hours. I watched the tide roll in and thought about the last 4 years of my life. Brooke's birthday dinners. The way she curled up against me on the couch. How she said she wanted 2 kids, maybe a dog. How she'd cried when I surprised her with a weekend in Cannon Beach. Was any of it real? Has she been playing me this whole time? Or worse, had she fallen in love with Marley while still being with me? I didn't sleep that night. Went back to the hotel room long after midnight. Brooke wasn't there. Her suitcase was gone. The next morning, she came back. She stood by the balcony, arms crossed, looking like she'd been crying. "I'm sorry," she said, voice flat. "I should have told you sooner." "Yeah," I replied, staring at the ring box on the nightstand. "That would have been nice. It wasn't planned. Marley and it just happened." I stood up. "What happened, Brooke?" "While we were still together. You cheated on me with my sister." She didn't answer. "You slept with her while we were still together?" Her silence was enough. "Unbelievable," I whispered, pacing. "You didn't even have the decency to tell me in private. You let me sit at that table, with a ring in my pocket. And you smiled while my world fell apart." She took a shaky breath. "You don't understand what it's like." "No," I snapped. "I guess I don't. Because I don't screw over the people who love me." She left that morning. Didn't even say goodbye. My parents acted like I was being overdramatic. "She didn't mean to hurt you," Mom said later that day. "Sometimes love just surprises us." "Yeah, well, it surprised the hell out of me." "You always make things about you," she muttered. I packed my bags early, changed my flight, took the red-eye home and sat in the dark on the plane, wondering how I'd been so blind. Back in Portland, the silence of my house was deafening. Hank greeted me at the door, tail wagging like nothing had changed. I hugged him so tight he squirmed. Then I sat on the floor of my kitchen and cried for the first time in years. I loved her. I trusted them. And they threw it all away with a toast and a smile. The days that followed were a blur. I didn't go back to work right away. I told my boss something vague about a family emergency, and he gave me the week off, no questions asked. I think he could tell from my voice that something serious had gone down. Or maybe I just sounded hollow. I spent most of that week in sweats, barely leaving the house. Hank was the only reason I even stepped outside. He'd nudge my hand with his nose when it was time for a walk, look at me with those big brown eyes, like he knew something wasn't right. He kept me grounded in a way people couldn't. I didn't tell anyone what had happened. Not at first. Not even my best friend, Jonah. I couldn't find the words. How do you explain something like that? "Oh hey, remember how I was gonna propose to Brooke in Hawaii? Yeah, turns out she's engaged. To my sister." It didn't sound real. I kept going back to that night. The toast. My mom's voice in my ear. The weird way my dad just kept sipping his wine, like none of it shocked him. They all knew. That was what twisted the K and Faye even deeper. Not just that Brooke cheated. Not just that she was in love with Marley. But that everyone around me had known. And they said nothing. No warning. No concern. No honesty. I started questioning everything. Were there signs I'd missed? Moments that should have stood out? I remembered a night about 6 months ago. Brooke had come home late from dinner with Marley. I didn't think anything of it at the time. She smelled like wine and said they'd talked for hours. She seemed relaxed. Almost too relaxed. Or the way she and Marley had started texting more. Sharing private jokes. Brooke would laugh at something her phone buzzed with, and when I asked, she'd just say, "Oh, Marley's being ridiculous again." Back then, I thought it was nice that they got along. Now I realized I'd been standing on a trapdoor the entire time, smiling like a fool, not knowing the floor was about to give out. Jonah eventually came over, uninvited, a week after I got back. He knocked once and let himself in. He had a spare key from when I dog sat for him last summer. "Yo," he said, stepping inside with a bag of takeout. "You look like hell." "Thanks," I muttered, not looking up from the couch. He dropped the bag on the coffee table and sat across from me. "What happened, man? You've been MIA. I thought you were gonna come back engaged." I swallowed hard, staring at the takeout bag. Smelled like Thai. Something spicy. I didn't answer. His voice softened. "Talk to me." I exhaled slowly. "She's engaged. But not to me." His eyebrows furrowed. "What?" "She's with Marley." He blinked. "Wait, Marley? Your sister Marley." I nodded. "What the F, are you serious?" "Wish I wasn't." He leaned back, rubbing his face with both hands. "Dude, I don't even know what to say." "Yeah. Same." There was a long pause. Just the hum of the fridge in the background. Then Jonah shook his head. Did you see this coming at all? Nope. They were, like, hooking up behind your back. Apparently for months. Jesus. He stood up, paced a little, then turned back to me. What the hell is wrong with them? That's not just betrayal. That's next level sickness. Mom knew, I said quietly. Dad too. Nobody said anything. Jonah's face twisted in disbelief. You've got to be kidding me. Nope. He sat back down, looking genuinely rattled. Man, I'm sorry. I really am. That's some twisted soap opera crap. I nodded. Yeah. Except it's my life. I started sleeping in the guest room. Couldn't bear to be in the bed Brooke and I used to share. Every time I walked past the master, it felt like walking through the ruins of something sacred. I cleared out her stuff slowly. Found one of her earrings under the bathroom sink. A receipt from a bookstore she loved tucked in the nightstand. Little landmines everywhere. I didn't throw them out. Not yet. I put them in a box in the garage. Taped it shut. Wrote "Do not open" on the lid in permanent marker, like that would keep the memories from seeping through. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal. It was the gaslighting afterward. The way they all made me feel like I was overreacting. My mom called twice. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail the second time. Tyler, honey, please don't shut us out. Marley and Brooke didn't mean to hurt you. Love is messy sometimes. Call me back, okay? I nearly smashed my phone against the wall. Didn't mean to hurt me? They stood there smiling while my heart broke in front of them. Raised their glasses to it. Weeks passed. I went back to work. Told my boss the truth in a watered-down version. He winced, said, "That's bare towel," and didn't bring it up again. I tried to fall into a routine. Wake up, walk Hank, go to work, come home, eat something microwavable, fall asleep with the TV on. Repeat. But everything felt off. Food tasted dull. Music sounded hollow. My hands shook sometimes for no reason. One night, I saw that Brooke had posted a photo on Instagram. Her and Marley on a rooftop, arms around each other, the city skyline behind them. Caption, "Love always finds a way." I stared at it for a long time. I didn't comment. Didn't like it. Didn't even screenshot it. I just shut my phone off and sat in the dark for a long time. A few days after seeing that Instagram post, I blocked both of them. Brooke, Marley. Gone. From my phone, my social feeds, everything. I deleted every photo I had with them. At first, it felt like I was erasing history, but then I realized it was like disinfecting a wound. It still hurt, but at least it wouldn't fester. I thought that would be the end of it. Clean cut. Done. But life isn't neat. Not when families are involved. One afternoon, I was out walking Hank along our usual route, and I ran into Mom. She was standing in front of the bakery a few blocks from my place, sipping coffee, holding a paper bag like she'd just picked up some scones. She smiled like nothing had happened. "Tyler," she said, like she was genuinely glad to see me. "You've been avoiding me." I didn't slow down. Just gave her a curt nod. "Been busy." She caught up beside me, heels clicking on the sidewalk. "Can we talk?" "Just for a second." I stopped, sighed. "Why?" "Because I'm your mother. You were also the woman who watched me get humiliated in front of everyone without blinking." Her face pinched like I'd slapped her. "That's not fair." "No, what's not fair is me planning to propose while everyone else was in on some secret relationship." "Tyler," she said, voice soft and patronizing, "you have to understand. Love is complicated." "No," I said, eyes narrowing. "It's not." "What did they do?" "That wasn't love. That was betrayal." She looked around, embarrassed. "Lower your voice." "No," I repeated louder this time. "I won't." People turned. She flinched. She tried to salvage it. "Marley didn't mean to fall for Brooke. It just happened." Things like that. "Stop," I cut her off. "You keep saying that. It just happened. Like it's some kind of accident. Like they tripped and landed in bed together." Her eyes watered. "You don't know what it's like to see your children fight like this." "And whose fault is that?" I snapped. "You had a choice. You could have told me. You would have warned me." She stepped back, lips trembling. "I didn't want to lose my daughter." "You already did." I turned and walked away. She didn't follow me this time. After that, something hardened in me. Like part of me shut off permanently. I stopped returning family calls. Ignored Marley's text that said, "Can we talk like adults?" I didn't want to talk like adults. I wanted to scream like a betrayed son. A betrayed brother. A man who was left to pick up the pieces of a life he thought was stable. I saw a therapist. First time ever. Her name was Regina. She had kind eyes and a tiny clock on the desk that ticked just loud enough to be distracting. "I think I'm broken," I told her during our second session. "You're not broken," she said. "You're grieving." "Grieving what?" She looked at me for a long time. The future you thought you had. Yeah, that hit. I was grieving something invisible. Plans that never happened. Kids we never had. Holidays we never shared. A life I'd built in my head that died without warning. I started journaling. Regina said it might help. Some days I wrote a lot. Some days I just drew angry circles or wrote, "Why?" over and over like a kid throwing a tantrum. Then Marley emailed me. Subject line, "Please read this." I don't know why I clicked it. Morbid curiosity maybe. Or maybe part of me still wanted to understand what the hell had happened. The email was long. Rambling. Full of excuses dressed up as explanations. She said she didn't mean to fall for Brooke. That she'd always looked up to me. That she never wanted to hurt me, but things just got complicated. She said Brooke wasn't the villain. That I shouldn't be mad at her. That love sometimes grows in places we don't expect. She ended it with, "I still love you, Ty. You're my brother. I hope one day you'll forgive me." I stared at those words for a long time. Then I closed the laptop and didn't reply. Jonah came by again a few days later. He brought beers this time and a deck of cards. "No talking about them," he said, cracking a bottle open and sliding it across the table. "Just poker and beer. Like college." We played for hours. He cheated. I didn't care. Around midnight, we were both half drunk and laughing. Then he said, "You know, you're handling this better than I would've." "I don't feel like I am." "Dude," he said leaning back, "if my sister hooked up with my girlfriend, I'd be in jail. Don't think I didn't fantasize about it." We laughed again, but then the silence settled in. "I don't even know who I am without her," I admitted. "You're Tyler," he said. "Solid. Kind. Loyal to a fault. And yeah, you got FK'd over. But that doesn't change who you are." Maybe he was right. Or maybe he just didn't know how broken I felt. More time passed. Eventually, I stopped checking Brooke's socials, even through burner accounts. I started fixing things around the house. Painted the kitchen. Repaired a leaky faucet. Built shelves in the garage. It felt good, doing things with my hands. Like I was reclaiming something. I joined a woodworking class at the local community center. First time I walked in, I nearly turned around. Everyone there was either twice my age or weirdly chipper. But I stayed. Cut some boards. Learned to sand properly. Got blisters. It helped. A woman named Harper was in the class. She was quiet, wore old band tees, and had a weird sense of humor. We got to talking. Nothing serious, just human. Real. I wasn't ready for anything more. But it felt good to talk to someone who didn't know my history. Who didn't look at me with pity or judgment. Then came the invitation. It was a thick white envelope, gold lettering. My name is written in Marley's handwriting. I knew before I opened it. "You are cordially invited to celebrate the wedding of Marley Bennett and Brooke Carson." My hands shook as I held it. I stared at the date. Just 2 months away. They were getting married. After all that, they wanted me to be there. I left the invitation sitting on the kitchen counter for 2 days. Every time I walked by it, I stared at the gold lettering like it might vanish if I looked long enough. There was something surreal about it. Like the final punchline to a joke that had already gone on too long. They wanted me there. As what? The supportive older brother? The ex-boyfriend? The guy who got stabbed in the back and was supposed to smile through it? The RSVP card sat untouched. Jonah saw it when he came over. "They're seriously inviting you?" he asked, mouth half full of takeout noodles. I just nodded. "Dude, that's next level psycho." "I know. What are you gonna do?" I didn't answer. I didn't know. About a week later, my mom called again. I answered this time. Maybe I was feeling reckless. Or maybe I was just tired of the silence. "Hi, sweetheart," she said like nothing had happened. "I'm so glad you picked up." I didn't say anything. Just let the line sit there. "I assume you got the invitation." "Yeah," I said. "I got it." There was a pause. "I know this is complicated," she said. "But it would mean a lot to Marley if you came." I let out a dry laugh. "You mean the woman who hijacked my relationship?" "She didn't hijack anything. Things happen. People fall in love. She fell in love with someone I was with for 4 years, Mom. That's not love. That's theft." "She didn't mean." "She did," I cut her off. "She meant every second of it. And you watched it happen." "I didn't want to lose both of you," she said quietly. "I had to make a choice. And you didn't choose me." Silence. "Then, you're still invited. Whether you come or not. That's your decision." "Yeah," I said. "It is." I hung up. That night, I sat on the back porch with Hank curled at my feet and stared out into the darkness. I kept thinking about Marley as a kid. Chubby cheeks, crooked pigtails, always trailing behind me like a shadow. She used to cry when I left for school without saying goodbye. We shared a room until I was 12. played STPID games, built forts out of couch cushions, told each other secrets in the dark. How did that girl become this woman? How did the sister who once begged me to help her build a snow fort become the one who slid her hand over my girlfriend's in front of our family and toasted her future with her? I kept trying to rewind it all in my head, find the moment the shift happened. But there wasn't one. It was just a slow, quiet unraveling. The RSVP card was still blank. I thought about mailing it back with just one word scribbled on it. Seriously? Instead, I shoved it in a drawer and went to bed. A few days later, I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years, Elena. We used to work together back when I first started at the company. She was in HR then, had this loud, raspy laugh, and a habit of giving unsolicited dating advice. We bumped into each other at the grocery store. "Tyler," she said, squinting over her cart. "Is that you?" I smiled. "Hey, Elena. Wow, it's been forever." She hugged me right there in the frozen aisle, like no time had passed. We caught up quickly, small talk, job updates, the usual. Then she tilted her head and said, "You look tired." "I've had a year," I said. She didn't press, just nodded like she understood something deeper. "Are you still seeing that teacher? What was her name, Brooke?" I hesitated. "Not anymore." "Ah, sorry to hear that." She didn't ask why. Didn't need to. That's the thing about people who've been through their own mess. They can smell yours a mile away. That weekend, I went back to the woodworking class. Something about sanding wood until it was smooth enough to run your hand over, without flinching, felt symbolic. Harper was there again. She looked up as I walked in and gave me this half smile. "You look less like a ghost this week." "Thanks," I said. "High praise." She chuckled. "Still fixing your life one plank at a time?" "Trying to." We worked side by side on a bookshelf. She didn't ask questions. I didn't volunteer details. But there was something comfortable about it. She told me she used to be married. Briefly. Said it ended badly, then paused and said, "But not as badly as yours, I'm guessing." I laughed, and it felt good. Real. A few days after that, I got a text. Unknown number. "Hey, I know I shouldn't be reaching out, but I miss you. I miss us. Please don't hate me. Brooke." I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. No reply. Then came the voicemail from Marley. "Hey, I know you're still mad. And you have every right to be. But I wanted to hear your voice. I wanted to talk. Even if it's just to yell at me. I miss you, Ty. Not like that. I just miss my brother. Please." I didn't delete it. But I didn't call back either. I just sat on the couch, the ring box still in the drawer under the coffee table. I hadn't touched it since Hawaii. But I knew it was there. Like a ticking time BMB. Some nights, I'd catch myself reaching for it. Just to remind myself it had been real. That I had been real. That what they did wasn't a reflection of my worth, but of theirs. The wedding was getting closer. I knew the date by heart, even though I never officially RSVP'd. Something about it stuck in my head, like a song I didn't want to remember but couldn't stop humming. At first, I planned to ignore it. Just let the day come and go. Maybe binge watch a TV show. Take Hank on a long drive. Pretend it wasn't happening. But the closer it got, the more I realized that silence wasn't justice. It wasn't peace. It was avoidance. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to make a scene. I wanted them to feel it. To know I was done being the doormat. So I made a plan. I called my old college roommate Liam, who now worked as a freelance graphic designer and part-time DJ. He owed me a favor from a few years back when I helped him move out of an apartment in the rain, carried a sleeper sofa up 3 flights of stairs while he complained about a sprained wrist. "Tell me what you need," he said. "I need a custom website. Something flashy. Wedding-related." "Exactly." He paused, then chuckled. "Revenge arc. Closure arc. Even better." The site went live the week of the wedding. Simple URL. Easy to remember. I didn't blast it all over the internet. I sent it discreetly, just to the guest list. I'd managed to get it from a family friend who didn't know what happened and thought I just got busy with work. The subject line of the email was, "Before you attend the wedding, read this." Inside the email, a link and a message. No hate. No drama. Just the truth. Clicking the link led to a clean, well-designed site. White background. Simple serif font. My voice, written clearly and calmly. No insults. No rage. Just the story. The full story. How I planned to propose in Hawaii. How I sat at a dinner table with a ring in my pocket, completely unaware. How Marley raised her glass and toasted her engagement to my girlfriend. How Brooke didn't deny it. How my parents knew. And how not a single one of them thought I deserved honesty. It wasn't graphic. It wasn't petty. It was real. At the bottom, I wrote, I'm not sharing this to ruin a wedding. I'm sharing it because truth deserves a seat at the table too. Make your own judgments. And I signed it. Tyler, I didn't hear anything for 2 days. Then the call started. First from my cousin Josie. Ty, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Then from Aunt Clara. Your mom's having a fit, but I think you did the right thing. Then Liam texted, site's getting a lot of traffic, my guy. Apparently, some of Marley's friends had second thoughts about attending. A few relatives quietly backed out. Word spread fast. No chaos. No public meltdowns. Just distance. A slow unraveling of the carefully curated lie they tried to build. The day of the wedding came. I dressed in a clean button-down jeans and took Hank for a long walk along the bluff outside town. The sun was shining. The breeze was light. It felt good to be out while they were in, trapped in their picture-perfect performance. And then, I got a message. From Brooke. I saw what you posted. You've made your point. I hope it made you feel better. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. She was right about one thing. It did make me feel better. A few weeks passed. Life felt lighter. I smiled more, ate better, even started sleeping through the night again. Harper from woodworking class invited me to a local art market. We went, browsed stalls, laughed over bad paintings and overpriced candles. We weren't anything serious, but there was something genuine there. No secrets, no tension, just shared space. I saw my mom at the grocery store again, but this time she didn't stop me, just looked away. A few days after that, I got a short note in the mail, handwritten, from my dad. I should have done better. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, you deserved more than what we gave you. I hope someday you'll forgive us. I folded the note up and put it in a drawer. Maybe one day I'll forgive them. But not yet. People think revenge is about fire, explosions, dramatic exits and destruction. But sometimes, revenge is the truth. Quiet, clear, undeniable. It's not about tearing someone else down. It's about standing tall while they look up and realize they can't touch you anymore. I didn't burn their house down. I just made sure the lights were on when everyone walked by and saw the mess inside. And then I left.